Back in high school, my friends and I would head to the movie theater every Friday night to see the latest movie that was playing. After that, we'd come back to one of our homes and usually watch another movie or play some video games, and we always tried to have the best sound system in our homes to have that movie-like experience at home. For many years, I've used a 5.1 surround sound system with a receiver, and it's actually worked really well, but ever since moving into this home, it had wiring for a sound system with rear speakers, but the wiring is messed up, or maybe I have bad speakers, and it just has always been kind of a problem ever since moving here. Now that I have the Samsung Q950T on the wall for the best video experience, let's go ahead and try out what a better audio experience is gonna be like. This is the Samsung Q950T Soundbar, and in today's video, we're gonna see what it's all about. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Tech with Brett, where I help tech work for you. Now I did purchase the Soundbar Q950T at a discounted rate for this review. So over here, let's check out some of the features that are available on this soundbar. So first, it does have Amazon Assistant built in. Here it has an HDMI interface, so you have two HDMI inputs and one HDMI output. It supports DTS:X, Dolby Atmos, it works with SmartThings. You can use Spotify, has an 8-inch sub. It's energy efficient. There's an HDMI cable included. I'm not sure if it is a HDMI 2.1 that supports eARC, so we'll find that out. Here it has a 9.1.4 channel. So that's the 9 directional, 0.1 is the sub, and then 4 Atmos speakers. And then it does work with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. Next, it has true 9.1.4 channel sound. Now I am a little bit skeptical because this is a lot of sound coming from the soundbar, so I'm not sure if it's gonna sound like it's immersing you that much, but we'll see. Next, it has 3D audio codec support, wireless rear speaker kit included, built-in assistant, and Q-Symphony. So one thing that this also supports is because I have the Samsung Q950T, it is able to work with the speakers in the TV and synchronize them together so you have a more immersive sound. So I'm excited to test that out. So let's go ahead and unbox this and get it set up. All right, first up we have the soundbar. Here on the top you do have a little display, volume controls, you have mute, and you have an action button. Here on the back and the bottom, you have the 2 HDMI in, 1 HDMI out, and an optical port as well. And then the power cable plugs in over here on the side, and a little USB service. So my main concern is if this was too big for my little entertainment center. And it is slightly bigger, but I think it will be okay. And then you could possibly mount it as well. Next we have the power cables. Here's the HDMI cord, and then on here, it says it is high speed with Ethernet. So I'm thinking that this is a 2.1 cable. Pretty sure that's going to work. And then here we have our remote with batteries. It's similar to the Q950T remote, but here it just has input, pairing, you have volume, sound mode, and then you can increase the volume or the woofer volume and play and pause right there on the remote. And then a user manual as well. All right, next we have the 2 rear speakers. So they're pretty beefy, pretty nice size. You would have the speaker pointing out here on the front and then the Atmos speaker up on the top. And then on the back, it just has a pairing button with a link and a standby LED. And then you do have a mounting screw on the back to plug it in. And then the power cable goes there in the bottom. And last we have the sub. All right, that's pretty good size, pretty heavy. Here on the back, you just have the power option and then the same LEDs as well as the link button. I really like how slim that is. There is a mount if you want to secure the soundbar to the wall. And then it also comes with some pads here. And it also comes with these to help mount it on the wall. Let's go ahead, get these plugged in, and I'll show you how to set them up. First, I'm going to plug in the HDMI cable, and then I'm going to plug it into the eARC port or the ARC port on the back of my TV. Then I'm going to plug in the sub. Now it's going to be really different having wireless surround sound speakers, but I think it's pretty cool. The only thing is you do need to have these plugged in. So I'm just gonna use these stands that I built for the front speakers. I'm gonna put them here on the back. I kinda want them back a little further and higher, but we'll see how they sound right behind my couch here. And on the back, it specifies if it's surround left or surround right. All right, I was able to hide most of the wires. I think I'll Velcro this one down, but I think everyone in the family is going to be happy with less wires. So let's go to the setup. When setting these up, plug in the subwoofer first and the rear speakers, and then plug in the soundbar last, and then it will automatically pair together. When the light is solid blue, that means they are linked together. And here's the recommended placement for the speakers. So you have the soundbar in front of the TV, the subwoofer next to it, and then the rear speakers behind the TV at a 135 to 150 degree angle. How'd I do? I probably could raise the speakers and pull them back a little bit further. And here you can see the Soundbar Remote is very similar to the Samsung Q950T TV remote, so just make sure you pick up the right remote when you want to control the TV. When you press the multifunction button right here, it will switch between the inputs on the soundbar. So I push it once, there we have HDMI 1, HDMI 2, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and then here we have digital in. So right now it's showing TV ARC. Now if eARC is working, it should show eARC. So it looks like we need to check the settings on the TV or get a eARC supported cable. So here I'm going to head into the settings of the TV, go to sound, and then right here you can see I do have different sound options. So I could choose the TV speaker, I could choose the TV and the soundbar, or I can choose the soundbar, but again, it's only showing the ARC option. And I'm gonna head down here into settings and I'm gonna switch HDMI eARC to auto. And let's go check the soundbar. All right, so after turning on eARC on the TV, it is showing eARC, so we are good to go. All right, let's do our first demo here.
It's cars.
Whoa. Why is it doing that? Well, so far, not good. It is pausing and then playing and then pausing. So let's see if we can fix that and try again.
Yay.
So my first impression of the soundbar is something is not quite working right. Whenever we're watching something, it will all of a sudden pause the audio even though the video is playing, and then it will just start back up. Or if I change the volume, the audio stops as well. So we're gonna try a few things to fix this. First, I'm going to add this 8K Ultra HD cable. This was sent to me by Snow Kids Store, so I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But it supports that 48 gigabits per second speed, the uncompressed audio, so maybe this will have the full support. I'm not really sure what the cable they sent has, so we're gonna try this out. And second, we're gonna link the soundbar into SmartThings to make sure that we have the latest update, make sure all the settings are correct, and then we'll give it another go. This cable is about 6.5 feet long. Now this can be used for video, but today we're specifically using it for the audio capabilities, and it does support 8K up to 60 Hertz. So it should be a great cable that fits all the standards and gives us the sound quality we're looking for. All right, so now let's take a look at the remote. Here we have the power options, so we can easily power off and on the soundbar. Next you have the input, so this will change the input. So here we're on eARC. Next we have HDMI 1, HDMI 2. Next we have Wi-Fi, and so we'll set that up when we use the SmartThings option. The next option is Bluetooth. Then we have eARC again. Next we have the pair Bluetooth. So if I press the pair Bluetooth option, then on our phone, we go into the Bluetooth settings under available devices. And here you can see I have the Samsung Soundbar Q950T. So we just tap on that, accept the pairing request. And now anything I play on here is going to come out of the soundbar. So I'm playing some music right now from my phone, and it is coming out of the soundbar. Here I can increase the volume, just like that. Then I have the woofer option, so I can increase the subwoofer. If I want to mute, I can push the mute button right here. And you can also push in on the volume, and that will mute as well. And then if we push the pair button again, it's then going to disconnect what it's currently paired to, and it's going to turn on pairing mode to find a new device. And then here in the middle, you have the pause play option. So then to repair, we will just need to go onto our phone, tap the soundbar, and we are paired. Next we have the controls, so we have up, down, left, and right. Then we have the mute option here. Here we have the sound mode. So first we have adaptive sound. Then we have surround. Here we have Game Pro. And here we have standard. Next we have settings. So with this, you can adjust each of the different levels of the soundbar. So if we push it once, you see we have treble. If we want to increase the treble volume, we push the up or down, however we want to increase it. So here we can increase it up to 5. Let's see, I think you can go all the way up to a 6, or you can go down to -6. And so you can really find exactly what you want there. So then the other options you have is you have bass, center speaker, center level, side level, wide level, front top level. So that would be the Atmos speakers on the soundbar. Then you have rear level, and you have rear top level. So those are the Atmos on the rear speakers. So one thing I've noticed after listening to this for a bit is I do need to increase the rear speaker sound. I like a little bit more coming from the back. So here we're gonna go to rear, and then I'm just going to push up a few, and let's do the same on the rear top speakers. And so that is how you can adjust the settings. And then here at the bottom, you have simple volume up and down, and pressing will mute. And here you have woofer up and down, just like that, and pressing to take it back to 0. So that's pretty much the settings on the soundbar. Now let's go ahead and get this set up with Samsung SmartThings. To connect over SmartThings, you will just need to have this SmartThings app. Now this can be done on an Android device or an iOS device. So we're just going to tap on SmartThings. Now you should see a pop-up to add your Samsung soundbar if this is the first time opening the SmartThings app after installing the soundbar. I have seen that, I just dismissed it. So to add the device, I'm just going to select plus, I'm going to choose device, and then I'm going to select scan nearby to see if it can just find it through scanning the Wi-Fi. And that just took a moment, but here you can see the Samsung Soundbar Q950T. I'm going to tap on that, and now it is going to add the soundbar. So here we're going to select start. We're going to choose where we want this. So I'm going to add this into my family room, and now it is connecting to the soundbar. Press volume down on the soundbar to connect. Once I did that, it then connected. And now you're going to choose a Wi-Fi network for the soundbar. So here I'm already connected to this Wi-Fi, so we're just going to tap on that one, type in your password. It's now registering the soundbar to my Samsung account. And now we're going to give it a unique name. I'm just going to call this Samsung Soundbar to make it easy. Select done. And now you can see we have the Samsung soundbar. So here in SmartThings, I can easily turn off the soundbar if I want to. I can turn it back on. And then I can go in here and it's telling me about tap sound options. So with tap sound, you can easily tap your supported phone up to the soundbar and it will instantly connect to play music over on the soundbar. So right now I'm going to select turn that on, and we'll get to that more in a minute. Now it's telling me about how you can use the soundbar with Amazon's assistant, Alexa. So with this, you would be able to remove other echoes you have in the room and just use the soundbar. So we're gonna go ahead and sign in and link that now. So you will be able to use the soundbar just like you do with any other Echo device. Get started. Here it already has linked my Samsung account to SmartThings, so I'm going to select allow, and then you're going to choose your language, and here are some different things that you can ask it. And now we are connected to the soundbar. So if I use the remote to increase the volume, here you can see it's increasing the volume, or if I want to adjust the volume, I could do that all from right here. Now, you might want to be careful because if you go too high, it gets really loud. So I stay down here under 10 and it seems to work just fine. So first it's showing you where the sound is coming from. So it's saying nothing is connected. Now in the SmartThings app, I do have the option to change the input right from here. So I can tap on this. I can choose what audio input I want. So from the TV, or I can choose external device. So going to HDMI 1 or HDMI 2, or I can choose the Samsung TV Wi-Fi or Bluetooth from this phone. So it is nice. I could quickly switch the inputs right here from the SmartThings app. And then down here, you can adjust your different sound modes. So there we have the 4 different types of sound mode. We have our equalizer right here. So if you want to choose a specific equalizer, you can do that. And if you tap on that, you can go to advanced where you can increase the bass and treble. And then down here, we have our woofer where you can set the woofer volume right here instead of having to use the remote. So some pretty simple settings right here in the Samsung soundbar. But if we go into the settings here, we have the network status. So we can see it is currently connected over Wi-Fi. And then here you do have Bluetooth pairing options. So you tap on that, it puts the soundbar in pairing mode. You see a little light on the soundbar and then you can connect other devices to it. And then here you have quick access to adjust your Amazon Assistant settings. And then last, you have option to adjust Spotify settings. So I don't currently use Spotify, but it looks like you can directly link it to the soundbar. And then under the settings, we do have one more option here, which is information. And here we have the option to do a firmware update. And hopefully this update and the new HDMI cord will then fix any type of issues I was having before where the audio was pausing. There is a new software update available that will take this to 1017.5. So I want to get on that update. So you can actually download the firmware onto a USB drive, plug it into the service port, and it will update. So I'm just going to do it that way. So during the update, it will go through this update on Wi-Fi SEP 3 times, and then it will finish by showing the last input that you were on. So here I was on Wi-Fi, so that means the update is done. Let's check in SmartThings. Here you can see that I am on the 1017.5. There is no update available. Great, we are now on the latest software. Now the last feature I want to adjust is the tap sound feature, where you can instantly tap your phone to start playing music. So in the SmartThings app, you're going to want to go into the settings here, and then you're going to scroll down, and right here you have tap view, tap sound on. So once that is on a Samsung device, then you have the option to just go up and tap the phone to the soundbar, and then it will send what you're listening to over to the soundbar. Let's try it out. So this does require a Samsung phone, and here I'm listening to some music on my phone, and then I'm just going to tap my phone on the soundbar. I don't know exactly where it is. I found it right there. So right in front of the little icon. And then here it's saying tap casting with tap sound. So tap sound will have access to all of the sounds played on your phone while casting. This includes phone calls, music, and sounds from apps. So let's hit start now. And here it's showing paired over Bluetooth, and the music is now coming out of the soundbar. So then you can use your phone as the controller to go ahead and control music. Now because the soundbar works in SmartThings, that means it will also work in the Google Home app. Now I usually use Google Assistant, and one thing that's pretty cool is if you link SmartThings to Google Assistant, you then see this Samsung soundbar. And with that, you now have option to control the soundbar with Google Assistant. So you can do things like turn the soundbar on and off, and you have the option to easily adjust the volume with your Google Assistant as well. Turn off Samsung soundbar.
Sure, turning off Samsung soundbar.
Turn on Samsung soundbar.
Sure, turning Samsung soundbar on.
Turn up the volume by 3 on Samsung soundbar. And then under the Amazon Assistant, here under View Devices, we now have an option here called Samsung Soundbar. And here we can see it's currently connected with Amazon Assistant. Now, one thing I do have a question on is, can you create a group with the soundbar and other Echo devices? So if I set up multi-room music, here you can see only Echo devices are showing up as an option to add for multi-room. Now, I'm not sure why I didn't see this at first, but when you go into the Samsung soundbar settings, here you can see you do have some audio settings. You have the connected devices speaker option. Here you have the sounds, so you can adjust the alarm. You have a do not disturb. You can adjust your location and your time zone. And then you also have the option for follow-up mode and adjust the measurements. So we were watching a movie and we kept getting notifications that I had a package that was going to arrive tomorrow. So make sure you go in and turn on do not disturb. Now that the Amazon app sees my new soundbar, I do want to make sure I add it into a group. So this is my family room group. I'm going to select edit. And then down here, I have the option for Brett's soundbar. So I'm going to check the box there and then save. Now that we have Amazon Assistant linked to our soundbar, let's go ahead and test out some voice commands. Turn on the lights. Don't know if you noticed that happen, but here on the front, it's showing it's listening, and then it did turn on the lights. Alexa, what's the weather tomorrow?
Here's the forecast for tomorrow in Orem. Look for partly sunny weather with a high of 41 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 22 degrees.
Alexa, play some music from Tidal.
Here's Tidal.
Alexa, turn down the volume. Surprised it was able to hear me while this is so loud. So that's working great. Let's go ahead and play some more movies.
Sure, Avengers Infinity War
Wait,
from
no,
Google Play
not that one.
Movies and
Stop,
TV
Google,
playing on
no.
Chromecast Ultra.
I am speed. One winner, 42 losers. I eat losers for breakfast. Breakfast.
All right, that sounds amazing. I can really hear the sound completely surrounding me. I'm demoing this with cars, and you can just hear the cars going this way or that way, or I heard noises back here, exactly what related to what was on screen. So really awesome so far. Now there's one more thing that we can do. Because I have the Samsung Q950T TV, I can actually incorporate the TV speakers into the sound system. They call this Q-Symphony. So let's try that out. To change this setting, we're gonna do this on the TV. We're just gonna go over here to our settings, and then we're gonna go to sound, and here you can see it has sound output. So we have a few options. We could just use the TV speakers. Here we could do TV with the soundbar, or we could just choose the soundbar. And then there's this other AV soundbar Wi-Fi option, or optical, which I haven't used, but let's go ahead and do the TV plus the soundbar. So this is using HDMI eARC for that option. All right, let's play some more. So after adding the TV speakers, there's definitely a lot more sound coming from the front of the sound system. So this would be nice if you really want to hear somebody talking on screen. So that's really helpful. So we're going to go ahead and do a movie night listening to the soundbar, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on the soundbar. Now let's take a look at using the inputs on the soundbar. So here I'm currently on the Disney Plus app on my TV. On the TV remote, I'm going to select home, come over to my source, and go to soundbar. So now anything that I've plugged into the soundbar HDMI is going to show up on here. So currently I have my Chromecast with Google TV plugged into here. So this is HDMI 1. On the soundbar remote, I push the input button, and then it's going to rotate to the next input, which is HDMI 2. And here I have the Wii U playing, and I have the volume control. Now there's no volume meter that shows up. That only shows on the little screen on the soundbar. Nothing shows up here on the TV. So if I want to change inputs back to HDMI 1, I kind of have to just keep clicking until I find the one I want. It's really too bad that display isn't on the front of the screen. Okay, I'm back at the Chromecast with Google TV input. Now, one thing I'm not seeing here is CEC, so I am not able to use the Soundbar Remote to navigate on my Chromecast with Google TV. I need to pick up the Chromecast with Google TV Remote to be able to navigate through. If it's plugged into the Samsung TV, I'm able to use the Samsung Remote to do this, so that's kind of a bummer. But when I use the TV Remote and the Chromecast is plugged into the soundbar, it does work. So maybe you just need to use the TV Remote more. So then if I want to head back here to a TV app, I can simply do that. Now, one thing I wasn't able to test with the sound system is a Blu-ray player or the new game consoles. My Blu-ray player died and I don't have any of those. But the one thing you do need to know about Dolby Atmos is there are only certain devices that do support that. So there are a bunch of Vizio, LG, Samsung, TCL, a lot of other devices that are able to support the Dolby Atmos features. And then you need to make sure that you're using a compatible Dolby Atmos app. So here on the Samsung TV, Disney Plus supports that, Netflix, Apple TV Plus, and Vudu are the ones that do support that. If I was watching something that wasn't on those, the sound seemed to work great, but you just didn't have that full Dolby Atmos experience. Now the Atmos is the upward firing speakers, so that kind of shoots in the air, and so it sounds like there are things on top of you. I didn't hear that effect too much. Maybe I still need to adjust some of the positioning with my speakers, but overall I can tell you that the sound is totally surrounding me. Just when I was watching Cars earlier and there's that big wreck at the very beginning, you could hear things going all back this way and that way and over and everywhere, and it was a really cool experience. Now, as for smart home integration, I do like that it works with the SmartThings app, and so you have controls through there, and that it has built-in Amazon Assistant. Now, it would be cool if you could add Google Assistant to it internally, but I don't know if that's really a problem because I have my other Google Assistant speakers that once linked to Samsung SmartThings, then I can control with my voice. So that has actually worked pretty well. It's not the full feature control, but at least I can turn it on and off, and I can change the volume, which makes it pretty convenient to have. Now, other than my original experience with this soundbar, I never had any of those audio issues again. The only other issue I had was every once in a while it would turn off the eARC support and it would go back to just TV ARC. Here you can see on the soundbar display it's showing TV ARC. And I really couldn't figure out what was causing this. I was trying all the different types of HDMI cables and nothing seemed to fix it. But then I realized that if I went back into the sound settings, I just needed to turn back the eARC option to auto, and then it would fix the issue and it would keep working. I don't know if my kids were messing with something and it caused it to turn off, but then once I got it back onto eARC, it did seem to stay on there for a while. Whenever I was having the issue, this would pop up on the screen saying that I wasn't using a supported device through eARC, but I had the cable plugged into the eARC TV to the eARC soundbar. So I'm not sure what that was talking about, but after fixing it in the settings, everything seemed to work just fine. After using the Samsung Q950T for over a week, I'm very impressed with what it can do. Now, at the beginning, I was a bit skeptical of having a wireless 5.1 surround sound system. And of course, this is a lot more than that, and I am very impressed. Once I fixed the initial issues that I had with it and kind of tweaked it for my preference in a full sound system, overall, I'm blown away by what this can do. It's crazy how loud it can get when it's such a low volume. I haven't even tested turning up the volume too loud just because it's already shaking the entire house. So I don't feel like I need to turn it up any more than that. There's been many times where my kids are just watching some daytime afternoon TV and I have to come in here and say, hey, we need to turn it down because it's too loud. I can clearly hear what they're listening to upstairs. So this definitely can put out some sound. Now, overall, all the speakers were very crisp and clear, and I'm really impressed with the amount of bass that can come out of this. Now, after watching some Iron Man, the bass was shaking the wall over here. The kids are sleeping. Hopefully they didn't get woken up, but I'm very impressed with the sound that can come out of that. Now, my only real complaints about this soundbar is the display on the device itself. When you are adjusting anything with the remote, if you change the input or the volume, you can't see what volume or input or woofer settings you're at because the display is up on the top. All you see on the front is a few dots that show up whenever you're talking to Amazon's Assistant, or if you change the volume. It would be nice if that display was a little more front and center so that I could see it. Or even if you saw those things display on the Samsung TV that I have here. Now, the good news is because I have the Samsung 950T, I am able to quickly adjust some of those settings, so I can adjust the sound output and I can change it if I want it to be on the TV and the soundbar or just the soundbar, so that's nice. But it would be better if I could see the display right on the front. Now, having the speakers on the TV integrated in the soundbar is a pretty cool feature. I really like how it gives a more full sound coming from the front of the room, if you like that, but I wouldn't say that it is necessary to have a Samsung Q90T TV and the soundbar together. I think the soundbar with the speakers and the sub is able to output plenty of sound for your viewing experience. But I can say with this great QLED TV and the sound system, overall, we have a really awesome experience here when we are watching movies. I no longer feel like I'm missing out not being able to go to the movie theater. We have been able to replicate that here in the home. And I really like how simple the setup is and that there aren't a lot of wires. Now, as I mentioned before, I love having the surround sound system and everything here, but over the years, it's getting more complicated, the wiring and putting the speakers somewhere, and maybe you have to power the speakers or whatever it is. It's taking a lot more work, and it seems like there's always something that goes wrong. Actually, the previous receiver I was using was actually the one that I was using 10 years ago because I got a newer one, and it was having issues and the speakers were being crackly, so I had to go get the old one. None of those issues will be here with these new speakers. I love that it's wireless, and the wireless seem to work great. I don't have to drag cables around my whole room. I just need to get power to it, and boom, it's ready to go. So overall, I'm really impressed with the Samsung Q950T. If you're in the market for a great soundbar sound system, this is really a great way to go. And it's nice that you don't have to go and buy a bunch of pieces. It's all in one package. Plug it in, and it's set up and ready for your listening experience. So that is pretty much it on the Samsung Q950T soundbar. If you have any further questions about it, please let me know in the comments below. And if you would like to see my full review of the Samsung Q90T, make sure you check out the video over here on the side. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.